The wind screamed across the Montana plains like a dying animal. Walter Briggs pulled his coat tighter and squinted through the snow. 67 years on this ranch had taught him when to stay inside, but something felt wrong tonight. His cattle were spooked. He could hear them bellowing from the southern pasture. Even through the blizzard, he grabbed his flashlight and trudged into the white darkness. Each step sank deep into fresh powder. The cold bit through his gloves. His breath came in short clouds. Getting too old for this nonsense, he thought. But those cows were his responsibility. 20 minutes later, he found them huddled against the fence line, as far from the back pasture as they could get. Their eyes rolled white with terror. Walter had seen cattle scared by wolves, bears, even a mountain lion once. This was different. This was primal fear. He climbed over the fence and pushed forward. The snow was trampled here, melted in places. Strange. His flashlight caught something massive ahead. Metal. Lots of it. The shape was all wrong for a plane. Too smooth. Too curved. Walter approached slowly. The object was half buried in the frozen earth, maybe 40 feet long. Its surface was dark and covered in symbols that hurt his eyes to look at. Some kind of crash, he realized. But what the hell crashed here? A section of the hull had torn open. Red light pulsed weakly from inside. Walter knew he should call someone. The sheriff. The military maybe. But curiosity pulled him forward. He aimed his flashlight through the gap. The interior was like nothing he had ever seen. Walls covered in glowing panels, some flickering, some dead. Frost coated everything. And in the center, suspended in a block of crystalline ice, was a creature. Walter's heart hammered. The thing was enormous, easily 20 feet from snout to tail. It had 4 legs, wings folded tight against its body, and a long serpentine neck. Scales covered its hide, shimmering between purple and black. A dragon. His mind supplied the word, even though he knew it was impossible. That he climbed inside carefully. The metal groaned under his weight. Up close, he could see the creature's chest moving. Barely. So slight he almost missed it. The thing was alive. Panels near the ice prison blinked with alien text. Walter touched one, and it changed the symbols he didn't recognize. He tried another. More nonsense. Then one panel flickered and displayed something that looked almost like a heartbeat. The line was nearly flat. Dying, Walter realized. Whatever this thing was, it was dying. That he should leave. Call authorities. Let someone else handle this. But the creature's face was visible through the ice, its eyes closed. It looked peaceful, sad. Something in Walter's chest tightened. He had pulled too many calves from snowdrifts, rescued too many animals for barbed wire. He couldn't just walk away. The ice wasn't natural ice. It had a faint blue glow and felt warm to the touch. Some kind of stasis technology, maybe. Walter examined the panels again. One showed the creature's outline with a red glow around it. He pressed it. Nothing happened. He tried holding it down. The panel beeped. Suddenly the ice began to crack. Lines spread across its surface like a spiderweb. The glow faded. The blocks started melting from the inside out. Water pooled on the floor. The creature slumped forward as the ice released it. Walter jumped back, his heart racing. The dragon's eyes snapped open. They were gold, bright as coins, and filled with absolute terror. IT tried to move, but collapsed. Its breathing came in harsh gasps. The panels around them flashed red, and an alarm wailed. Walter didn't need to read Alien to know that sound meant bad news. The creature's mouth opened. No fire came out, just a weak hiss. It stared at Walter, waiting to be killed maybe, or hurt. The fear in those golden eyes was unmistakable. Walter held up his hand slowly. Easy now. Easy. I'm not going to hurt you. The dragon's translator must have been damaged because all it did was crackle and pop. But the creature seemed to understand tone. Its body relaxed slightly, though it kept watching Walter with wary intensity that he needed to get it warm. The ship's systems were failing and outside was deadly cold. His barn. It wasn't much, but it had heat lamps for the cattle. If he could get this thing there, maybe it had a chance. Walter moved to the creature's side. Up close, it was even bigger. Each scale was the size of his palm. He touched its shoulder gently. Cold. Too cold. The dragon flinched, but didn't pull away. Can you walk? My barn's not far. Got heat there. Food, maybe. The translator crackled again. A broken word came through. Why? Walter blinked. Why what? Why help? The voice was female, he thought. Weak and confused, he shrugged. Because you need it. Come on now. Let's get you somewhere warm before we both freeze. The dragon stared at him for a long moment. Then slowly, painfully, it tried to stand. 3 days had passed since Walter dragged a half-frozen alien dragon into his cattle barn. He still wasn't sure how he managed it. The creature had collapsed twice on the way. Each time Walter thought that was it, but she kept getting back up. Stubborn. He liked that. Now she lay curled in the corner under 4 heat lamps, breathing steady and deep. Walter had cleared out the cattle, moved them to the smaller barn. His neighbors would think he had lost his mind if they knew. Maybe he had. He carried in a bucket of warm water and set it down nearby. The dragon's eye opened, tracked his movement. She was always watching, always ready to run or fight, never quite trusting. Morning, Walter said. He talked to her constantly. Figured his voice might help. Brought you some water, fresh from the well. The translator on her collar sparked to life. It had taken Walter a full day to figure out how to reactivate it using the medical kit from her ship. You continue this. What? Told you already. You needed help. He sat down on a hay bale, keeping his distance. Got a name. The dragon was quiet for a long moment. Then Ash. My name translates to Ash. Burn things. Walter Briggs. Folks just call me Walt. Ash lifted her head slightly. The movement seemed to take effort. Walter, you are small. Weak. I could kill you easily. Yep, probably could. He sipped his coffee. But you won't. How do you know? Because if you wanted to, you'd have done it already. You're scared, not mean. There's a difference. The translator was silent. Ash stared at him with those golden eyes. Finally, she said, I was property. Slave. My kind were conquered when I was young. They used us as weapons. As tools. We burn hot enough to melt steel. Survive in space. They bred us for war. Walter felt his chest tighten. He had suspected something like that from the scars on her hide. What? I escaped. Broke free during transport to another battle. Killed 3 handlers. Stole evacuation pot. Crashed here. She paused. They will come for me. They always come for escaped property. Well, they can try. Walter stood and walked to his workbench. He returned with a plate of cooked beef and eggs. Sat down near her. You need to eat. Keep your strength up. Ash stared at the food like it might explode. This is for me. Who else? I already ate, but I am worth nothing to you. Why waste resources on property? You're not property. You're a living thing. And in my house, living things get fed. He sat back down. Go on. It won't bite. Slowly, carefully, Ash extended her long neck and sniffed the food. Then she ate, not like a starving animal. Carefully, like she expected it to be taken away any moment. When she finished, she looked at Walter with something like confusion. Your people, she said, they do not use others as tools. Some tried. Long time ago, we had slavery. Bought and sold people like cattle. Took a war to stop it. We're not perfect, but we learned. Mostly. He pulled out his wallet and showed her a photo. This is my family. My wife Sarah passed 2 years back. These are my grandkids. Ash studied the picture with intense focus. Small humans. Your offspring's offspring. Yep. Emily is 7. Brad is 5. Hellions, both of them. But I love them more than anything. Love. The translator made the words sound uncertain. My kind had that. Before. We had families. Nests. My mother sang to us in the mountains. What happened to them? Dead. All dead. The Empire killed anyone who resisted. Turned the rest of us into weapons. I have not seen another of my kind in 10 cycles. I think I am the last. Walter felt tears sting his eyes. He wiped them away quickly. I am sorry. That's a hell of a thing to carry. They sat in silence for a while. Outside, snow was falling again. Softer this time. Peaceful. Ash spoke quietly. You leak water from your eyes. Are you damaged? Just sad. For you. For what you lost. You are strange, Walter. I do not understand you. He smiled. Yeah, well, I don't understand myself half the time. How about you rest up? I'll bring more food later. As he stood to leave, Ash said, Walter, the beacon. I could not disable it before crashing. They will track it here. You should run. Take your family far away. Walter paused at the door. How long do we have? Days. Maybe a week. They will send hunters. Then we got time to figure something out. He looked back at her. I didn't pull you out of that ice just to hand you over to slavers. We'll find a way. You cannot fight them. You are one old human. Maybe, but I'm a stubborn old human. And I've got friends. He tipped his hat. Get some rest, Ash. You're safe here. As he closed the barn door, he heard her translator crackle one more time. Thank you, Walter. He smiled despite everything. You're welcome. Inside the house, Walter sat at his kitchen table and made a list. He would need supplies, weapons maybe, and he needed to warn his neighbors without causing a panic. Most importantly, he needed to buy time, because Ash was right. They would come for her. But Walter Briggs had never backed down from a fight in his life. He wasn't about to start now. 2 weeks had changed everything. Ash no longer flinched when Walter entered the barn. She had started making a sound he thought might be laughter when he told stories. And this morning, she had accidentally set fire to a hay bale. The scorch mark was 3 feet wide and still smoking. Ash had curled into the smallest ball possible, her whole body trembling. Walter just grabbed the fire extinguisher and put it out, then went back to mixing her breakfast. I am sorry, Ash whispered. Her translator had been working perfectly for days now. I did not mean to. I was dreaming of home, and the fire just came out. Walter set down her food, scrambled eggs, bacon, and a whole chicken he had roasted. She ate enough for 5 people, but he didn't mind. Ash, look at me. She raised her head slowly. Shame filled her golden eyes. Accidents happen. You think I never knocked over a lamp or broke a window? My insurance guy won't believe me anyway when I tell him. He grinned. Might say a dragon did it just to see his face. The translator crackled with what might have been a laugh. You are very strange, Walter. So you keep telling me. He sat on his usual hay bale. His back complained, but he ignored it. Getting old was hell. Want to tell me about this dream? Ash was quiet for a long time. Then she began to speak. She told him about mountains that touched the clouds, about crystal caves where her people nested, about her mother teaching her to fly, her father showing her how to hunt sky whales in the upper atmosphere, about siblings she barely remembered, about the day the Empire came and everything burned. Walter listened. Sometimes he asked questions. Mostly he just let her talk. When she finished, her eyes were wet. He hadn't known dragons could cry. Sounds beautiful, he said softly. Your home is gone now. They strip mine the mountains, turn the caves into fuel refineries. Nothing remains. The place is gone, but the memories aren't. Long as you remember, it's not completely lost. Ash looked at him. Is that what you do? With your Sarah? Walter pulled out his wallet and removed the worn photo of his wife, taken on their 40th anniversary. She was laughing at something he had said. God, he missed that laugh. Every day, I remember her smile, the way she hummed while cooking, how she'd smack my arm when I made a bad joke. He touched the photo gently. Been 2 years, but sometimes I still set the table for 2. Brain forgets she's gone. Does the pain ever stop? No, but it gets different. Less sharp. You learn to carry it. He looked up at her. We're a pair, aren't we? 2 old souls missing what we lost. You're not old, Walter. Your kind lives, such short lives. 67 is plenty old for a human. Most of my friends are dead or in nursing homes. He stood with a grunt. But I've got enough years left to help you. That's what matters. Over the next few days, their routine became comfortable. Walter would bring food and stories. Ash would share memories of her world. She taught him words in her language. He taught her English idioms that confused her translator. When he showed her a photo of his grandchildren, she studied it for hours. They look fragile, she said, but happy. Kids usually are. Happy, I mean, before life gets complicated. He smiled. Emily wants to be an astronaut. Brad wants to be a dinosaur. Not study them. Be one. I would like to meet them, if I could without causing fear. Maybe someday. Emily would think you're amazing. That girl loves anything that flies. Then came the day Walter's neighbor stopped by. Old Pete from the next ranch over. He knocked on a barn door while Walter was inside with Ash. They both froze. Walt? You in there? Saw your truck. Ash started to move deeper into the barn, but Walter held up his hand. He cracked the door open. "Pete, what brings you by?" Pete squinted at him. "Been hearing weird noises from your place. Sounds like metal groaning. And my cattle been spooked. Something going on? Got some equipment in here I'm fixing up. Makes noise sometimes. As for the cattle, probably coyotes." Pete didn't look convinced. "You've been acting strange, Walt. Buying enough food for an army. Staying out here all hours. You feeling okay?" "Right as rain. Just keeping busy. You know how it is." "Yeah." Pete shifted his weight. "Listen, if you need help with something, you just ask." "Okay. Appreciate it, Pete. I'm Fine." "Really?" After Pete left, Ash said he suspects. "Maybe. But Pete's a good man. He won't cause trouble." Walter sat down heavily. "Though it reminds me, we need to check that scanner of yours. See how close they're getting." They went to the crashed ship that night. Ash had shown Walter how to access the damaged systems. The scanner flickered to life, showing a star map. 3 red dots were approaching Earth's solar system. 2 days, Ash said quietly. "Maybe 3. They're close now." Walter felt his stomach drop. "How many ships?" 300 vessels. Each carries 20 soldiers and combat drones. They will not negotiate. They will simply take me. Over my dead body. "Walter, that is exactly what will happen. You cannot fight them." He looked at her, really looked at her. This creature who had been tortured and enslaved, who had lost everything, who still somehow found it in herself to worry about a stubborn old rancher she barely knew. "Your family now, Ash. I don't abandon family. Not ever. I'm not your family. I am an alien. A monster. You're my friend. Close enough to family in my book." He pulled out his phone. "I need to make some calls. Got some old buddies who owe me favors. And we need to prepare." "Prepare how?" Walter smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. "Ash, I grew up hunting in these mountains. Fought in a war when I was younger than my grandson is now. And I've been defending this ranch from everything nature could throw at it for 40 years. Those slavers want to fight." He looked up at the stars where 3 ships were coming. "We'll give them one they won't forget." The sky tore open at dawn. 3 ships descended through the clouds like falling stars. They weren't subtle. Energy crackled around their hulls as they entered the atmosphere. Walter watched from his porch, coffee in hand, while Ash hid in the reinforced section of the barn they had prepared. The ships broadcast in 100 languages. Walter's phone translated it automatically. "Return the property designated Ash, 7749, or face immediate destruction. You have 1 standard hour to comply." Walter took a sip of his coffee. "Go to hell." The response came fast. "Non-compliance detected. Deploying hunter units." 30 metallic spheres dropped from the largest ship. They hit the ground and unfolded into 4-legged machines, each the size of a bear. Cameras swiveled on their heads. Weapons charged with a high-pitched whine. Walter set down his coffee and picked up his hunting rifle. He had been a decent shot in his youth. Time to see if he still had it. He fired once. The closest drone sparked and collapsed. The others turned toward him in unison. "Well," he muttered. That got their attention. He ran for the barn as energy bolts scorched the ground behind him. Inside, Ash was already moving. They had practiced this. Walter dove behind a reinforced barrier made from his tractor and scrap metal. Ash positioned herself near the back entrance. The drones smashed through the barn walls. 6 of them, their weapons charged. Walter fired twice more, taking down one. Ash unleashed a stream of plasma that melted 3 others into slag. The heat was incredible. Walter felt his eyebrows singe. The remaining 2 drones fired. Walter ducked as energy bolts tore through the air where his head had been. Ash lunged forward with shocking speed and crushed one under her clawed foot. The last drone tried to retreat, but Walter shot out its leg joint. It collapsed, and Ash finished it with another plasma burst. Silence fell. Smoke drifted through the ruined barn. "That was the easy part," Ash said. Walter reloaded his rifle. "I know." The broadcast came again. "Resistance is noted. Property is to be returned undamaged. Human interference will be eliminated. Deploying ground forces." A larger ship descended. Its landing gear crushed Walter's fence and part of his pasture. A ramp lowered. Soldiers emerged. They were tall, maybe 7 feet, covered in dark armor. Each carried weapons that hummed with power. 20 of them formed up and began marching toward the barn until Walter's phone rang. He answered without looking. Yeah, Grandpa, we're 10 minutes out. It was his grandson, Danny. Marine Corps, recently back from deployment. Told you not to start without us. Wasn't planning to. These boys just got eager. We brought some friends. And some hardware that definitely isn't legal. Don't tell Mom. Walter grinned. Wouldn't dream of it. He hung up and looked at Ash. Reinforcements coming. Think you can buy us 10 minutes? I can try. They burst from the barn together. Ash went right. Walter went left. The soldiers scattered and opened fire. Energy bolts lit up the morning. Walter used every bit of cover, firing when he could. He wasn't trying to win, just slow them down. Ash was magnificent. She moved like lightning, her plasma breath forcing the soldiers to keep their distance. When they tried to surround her, she took to the air. Her wings were still healing, but strong enough for short flights. She strafed them from above, scattering their formation. Walter shot 2 soldiers in gaps in their armor. Not killing shots, but enough to take them out of the fight. A bolt grazed his shoulder, and he went down hard. Pain exploded through his arm. An armored soldier loomed over him, weapon raised. Ash hit the soldier like a meteor. The impact left a crater. She stood over Walter, snarling, plasma dripping from her jaws. The translator broadcast her voice loud enough for everyone to hear. You will not touch him. The remaining soldiers hesitated. One spoke in a language the translator converted. The property defends a human? This is against all conditioning. I am not property, Ash roared. And he is not just a human. He is Walter. He is kind. He is family. The soldier laughed. Impossible. Your kind knows only obedience or death. Then you know nothing of my kind. Ash's body began to glow. Heat shimmered around her. You know nothing of friendship, of choice, of freedom. Walter taught me these things. Engines roared overhead. 3 pickup trucks came flying over the hill. They skidded to a stop and men poured out. Some were young, in military gear. Others were old, Vietnam vets like Walter. All were armed. Danny ran to his grandfather. You okay, Gramps? Been better. Help me up. They formed a defensive line. 15 humans and 1 dragon against alien soldiers. The math wasn't good, but nobody was backing down. The lead soldier activated his comm. Sir, the situation has escalated. Requesting orbital support. The largest ship in orbit responded. Denied. Property must be recovered intact. Continue ground assault. Sir, the humans are defending the property. This complicates extraction. Then eliminate the humans. We will breed more property specimens once this one is secured. Something changed in that moment. The soldiers had been professional, efficient. Now they hesitated. One lowered his weapon slightly. The lead soldier noticed. You have your orders. Sir, they're defending their own. That is the act of soldiers, not animals. They are primitives. Follow your orders. The soldier looked at Walter, bleeding but standing. At Ash, wings spread protectively. At the humans who had come to help despite impossible odds. He made a decision. No. The word hung in the air like a gunshot. The lead soldier turned. What did you say? I said no. This is wrong. We are not murderers. We are soldiers. Half the soldiers lowered their weapons. The other half raised them, now pointed at their own comrades. The situation had gone from bad to chaos. And from orbit, the largest ship began powering up its main weapon. The air itself started to vibrate. Every human and alien on the ground looked up. The massive ship in orbit was gathering energy. A red glow built at its nose, growing brighter by the second. Walter knew what that meant. They all did. If they couldn't have Ash, they would destroy everything. Everybody scatter. Danny yelled, get to cover. But there wasn't enough time. The weapon would level everything within miles. Walter looked at Ash. She looked back at him. In that moment, 1,000 conversations passed between them without words. Then Ash spread her wings and launched herself into the sky. No. Walter screamed. Ash, get back here. She climbed higher, faster than he had ever seen her move. Her body began to glow brighter and brighter. She was pulling in heat, he realized, from the air, from the ground, from everything around her. The temperature dropped 20 degrees in seconds. The orbital weapon fired. A beam of pure energy lanced down from space, bright enough to blind. It hit Ash dead center. For a moment, Walter thought she was gone. Vaporized. His heart stopped. Then the beam bent. Ash was absorbing it. Her body blazed like a star. The energy that should have destroyed a county was being pulled into her, contained, compressed. She screamed. The sound was like metal tearing. But she held. The weapon shut off. The ship in orbit went dark, its power drained. And Ash hung in the sky, burning with captured energy. Holy God, someone whispered. The lead soldier on the ground stared upward. That's impossible. No specimen has ever demonstrated that level of thermal capacity. That's because you never gave him a reason to, Walter said quietly. Ash descended slowly. She was shaking. The glow faded gradually. When her feet touched the ground, she collapsed. Walter ran to her despite his wounded shoulder. He pressed his hand against her scaled hide. You crazy, wonderful creature. What were you thinking? Protecting family, she whispered. The translator barely worked. Like you taught me. The ships above began to retreat. But the lead soldier on the ground, the one who had refused orders, stepped forward. He removed his helmet. His face was scaled, reptilian. Not so different from Ash. I am Commander Reth. I apologize. This was wrong. We've been doing this for so long. We forgot what we were fighting for. He looked at his divided troops. We were conquered too once. Forced to serve. We became the very thing that enslaved us. Another soldier stepped forward. Then another. Soon half the force had removed their helmets and set down their weapons. Species Walter had never seen. All of them looking tired and ashamed. We will face consequences for this, Reth said. The Empire does not tolerate failure. Then don't go back, Danny said. He had his rifle lowered but ready. Stay here. Fight with us instead of for them. You would harbor us? Enemy combatants. Walter struggled to his feet. Blood soaked his shirt, but he stood firm. My grandfather came to this country with nothing. Found people willing to give him a chance. That's what we do here. We take in those who have nowhere else to go. He looked at Ash. All of them. The ships in orbit began powering weapons again. But this time, they were targeting the landed craft. A voice came over the comm. Traitors will be purged. All defecting units are to be eliminated. They're going to fire on their own people, Danny said. Ash tried to stand. Failed. Tried again. Walter supported her. You can't. You're exhausted. Must try. They helped us. Cannot let them die. You'll kill yourself. She looked at him with those golden eyes. Would you do less? Walter had no answer. Because she was right. He would do exactly the same thing. But he didn't have to. Because something new appeared in the sky. Human jets screamed overhead. Military drones deployed. The cavalry had arrived. Not just local military, but everything the government could scramble when they realized aliens were attacking American soil. The orbital ships found themselves targeted by surface-to-air missiles and energy weapons reverse-engineered from crashed alien tech. Earth wasn't defenseless. Not anymore. The ships retreated, jumping to faster-than-light speed. Silence fell again. This time it felt different. Final, Commander Reth knelt before Walter. We are in your debt, human. You defended us when you had no reason to. When we came to destroy you, you made the right choice at the end. That's what matters. Walter swayed. Loss of blood catching up to him. Danny caught him. Gramps, we need to get you to a hospital. In a minute. Need to make sure Ash is okay. She nudged him gently with her snout. I am well, but you are damaged. Please, let them help you. Stubborn old man, Walter muttered. That's what Sarah always said. He let Danny and the others help him toward truck. But he looked back at Ash, at the freed soldiers, at the scorched earth where impossible things had happened. This isn't over, he said. When word gets out, more will come. Some seeking freedom, others seeking revenge. Reth stood. Then we will be ready. If you will have us, we will defend this place. This world. It gave us something we thought lost forever. What's that? Choice. As they drove Walter to the hospital, he watched Ash in the side mirror. She was surrounded by freed soldiers, all of them looking at her like she was hope incarnated. Maybe she was his phone buzzed. Emily, his granddaughter. Grandpa, are you okay? The news is saying aliens attacked your ranch. I'm fine, sweetheart. Just a scratch. Mom says you fought them. With a dragon. Walter smiled despite the pain. Not with a dragon. For one. Big difference. Can I meet her? Please. He looked back at Ash one more time. Yeah, I think you can. She'd like that. The world had changed in a single day. Humanity learned it wasn't alone. That the galaxy was bigger and more dangerous than imagined. But also that courage and kindness could bridge any gap, even between species separated by light years and evolution. And it all started because one stubborn rancher couldn't leave a creature in the cold. The hospital room smelled like antiseptic and bad coffee. Walter had been there for 3 days. Doctors said he was lucky. The energy bolt had missed everything vital. At 67, lucky was about all he could ask for. They told him he couldn't have visitors yet. Too many reporters, government agents, and curious onlookers. The hospital was surrounded. But on the 4th morning, something large landed on the roof. Security went crazy until they realized what it was. Ash squeezed through the window. Barely fit. She curled up next to his bed, careful not to disturb the medical equipment. You are healing well, she said. The translator worked perfectly now. Danny had fixed it. So are you. Wings look better. She stretched them slightly. The damaged membrane had regenerated. Your grandson brought me food. Your daughter yelled at me for 30 minutes about putting you in danger. Your granddaughter asked me 700 questions. Walter laughed, then winced. That sounds about right. What did you tell Emily? The truth. That you saved my life. That you are braver than any warrior I have known. Ash's golden eyes were soft. She said she was not surprised. That you are a stubborn old goat who never knows when to quit. Smart kid. They sat quietly for a moment. Outside, the world was going insane. First contact. Galactic slavery. Earth's sudden, violent introduction to interstellar politics. But in this room, it was just an old man and the dragon he had saved. The government wants to talk to you, Walter said. About everything. I've spoken with them. Told them about the Empire. About the slave trade. About worlds conquered and species destroyed. She paused. They are angry. Your people. Very angry. Yeah, we don't take kindly to that sort of thing. Not anymore. They want to fight. To free other enslaved species. Walter nodded slowly. Will you help them? Ash was quiet for a long time. I do not know. I spent so long running. Fighting feels wrong, but leaving others in chains feels worse. Whatever you decide, I'll support you. You're free, Ash. Actually free. That means the choice is yours. A knock at the door. Danny poked his head in. Gramps, there are some people here who really need to see you. I'm not talking to any more government types today. It's not that. It's the soldiers. The ones who defected. Commander Reth wants to speak with you. Walter looked at Ash. She nodded. Let them in. Reth entered, followed by 5 others. They looked different without their armor. Smaller. More vulnerable. The commander carried something wrapped in cloth. Walter Briggs. We came to thank you properly. He unwrapped the cloth, revealing a crystal that pulsed with inner light. This is a unity stone for my world, given only to those who bridge divides between peoples. You united enemies. Made us remember what we fought for originally. I just did what was right. Exactly. When many would have chosen survival or profit, you chose kindness. That is rare. Precious. Reth placed the stone on the bedside table. We have decided to stay. To help defend Earth. If you will have us. Hell, I'm just one old rancher. But I suspect Earth will be glad for the help. One of the other soldiers stepped forward. She was smaller, with blue-tinted scales. My name is Lyra. I was taken from my world as a hatchling. I do not even remember my home. But here, in your barn, Ash told me about belonging. About family that is chosen, not born. I would like to stay near her. Near you, if permitted. Walter felt his throat tighten. You're all welcome, far as I'm concerned. Over the next week, things moved fast. Earth's government scrambled to create policies for alien refugees. The freed soldiers testified about the Empire's crimes. Galactic authorities were forced to investigate. The story spread across thousands of worlds. Walter was released from the hospital to find his ranch transformed. The military had rebuilt his barn bigger and stronger. Commander Reth and his people had constructed shelters nearby, and Ash had taken up permanent residence in the new barn, which now had heating, plumbing, and an entertainment system Danny installed. The first time Emily visited, she ran straight to Ash without fear. The dragon lowered her head and let the 7-year-old climb onto her back. Walter's daughter had a heart attack, but Ash was gentle as a kitten, flying low circles around the property, while Emily shrieked with joy. "She is precious," Ash said later. "Like you, small but fierce. She wants to be an astronaut. Might actually make it now that we know what's out there. I hope she does. Your species will do well among the stars. You have something most lack." "What's that?" "Compassion that extends beyond your own kind. You see a being in pain, and you help. No calculación, no strategy. Just help." Ash curled up near Walter's rocking chair. "That will serve you well." Months passed. Earth became a refuge for escaped slaves and political dissidents from across the galaxy. The ranch became a symbol, the place where it all started, where an old man chose kindness over fear. Other dragonkin were found. 3 survivors from Ash's species. When they arrived, she wept. They built a nest in the mountains nearby. Sometimes Walter visited, bringing food and stories. The dragons called him Elder Friend. The highest honor they could give on the first anniversary of Ash's crash, Walter sat on his porch. She lay in the yard, watching the sunset. Freed aliens worked in the fields, learning to farm. Ships came and went in the sky, bringing supplies and more refugees. The world had changed completely. "Do you regret it?" Ash asked. "Your quiet life is gone." Walter thought about that. His ranch was now the center of interstellar chaos. He had government agents living in his guest room, alien species using his barn as an embassy. His phone rang constantly with interview requests. "No," he said finally. "I miss the quiet sometimes. Miss Sarah something fierce. She'd have loved all this." He smiled. "But regret saving you? Never. Not even for a second." Ash moved closer. She was careful now, aware of her size. "You gave me back my life, my purpose, my hope. You did the same for me. After Sarah died, I was just waiting around to join her. You gave me a reason to keep going." Emily came running out of the house. "Grandpa, Ash, the news says another ship is coming. More people need help." Walter stood with a grunt. His shoulders still ached sometimes. "Well then, better get ready to welcome them." Ash spread her wings. Together, always together. As the sun set over Montana, painting the sky in reds and golds, an old man, a dragon, and a little girl who dreamed of stars stood together. Behind them, dozens of species worked side by side, building something new, something better. All because Walter Briggs found a frozen creature in his field and couldn't walk away. The galaxy would never be the same, and neither would he.